guys, I want to share with you guys a little bit about Decisive Moment. So one of the coolest things about photography is its ability to capture things at a split second. You get the ability to essentially freeze time. So Henri Cartier-Bresson figured this out and he's like, whoa, like you can freeze time. You can capture a moment that you might not be able to see with your normal eye. So he used this in his street photography. And street photography is essentially when you go out onto the streets looking for someone to photograph, someone or some things. And he would just basically walk around the streets of Paris looking for cool events or things that would catch his eye. So this photograph right here is quintessential Decisive Moment. So again, it's something that is freezing time. It's a split second that is really difficult to recreate. So if you notice, this gentleman looks like he is a split second away from falling into the water or making a really, really big splash. So Henri Cartier-Bresson, street photographer in Paris, who was known for his decisive moments or his ability to freeze time. So this is another example by Cartier-Bresson. And if you notice, this is falling right about the rule of thirds. You have this beautiful line that is pointing you to the emphasis or the main part of the picture. Also notice how it is in a bird's eye view that this is shot. It's almost like he set this up on his own, but that bicyclist just happened to come by at the right time. This is not Decisive Moment, but this is another of Bresson's work that I thought I would share with you. Notice how he uses framing. So this is another good example of both street photography, just being out in the public, trying to find cool and interesting moments, and Decisive Moment. So if you notice, these birds that are in the foreground just happen to flutter up just at the right time as these gentlemen were walking by. So it looks like this guy has wings. Decisive Moment, something that freezes time that would be very challenging to recreate. Really good example, again, falling on the rule of thirds. This is a war photograph. This man or this soldier is in the process of actually getting shot. And it brings to light some interesting issues of both, should a documentary photographer or documentary journalist be a fly on the wall and let things unfold as they do, or should he have intervened? But again, Decisive Moment, very challenging to recreate. Great examples of of decisive moments are often in sports photography. So you can see the Packers are obviously making a wonderful play, and there's this element of freezing time or challenging to recreate. Again, freezing time, if you're a NASCAR fan, this is Brad Keselowski. He is running over his pit crew. Probably not a good idea. But if you notice, you have all of these things that are happening that are mid-action. So this wheel is flying off, as well as his pit crew is mid-air. So again, mid-action, while this other gentleman is running to come and help. So in order to get decisive moment photographs or action photography or freezing that split second while your subject is in action can be pretty challenging. So a way to help that or make that easier is if you click this button right here. And so this button is going to change the release mode on your cameras. So by clicking this button, it's going to change how when you push this button to take the picture, if it moves, a lot of times it'll just be, if you click it once, just one photograph will be taken. But if you click this button and notice how it's like a bunch of little photographs that are stacked on top of each other, by choosing that release mode or continuous, when you click the shutter button or this button, it will continue to click, 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 click until you release it. So you'll be able to take multiple pictures just by holding that shutter or holding that button down. So you can get someone jumping in midair and get click, 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 click until they hit the ground. If you don't have access to that button, another way to do it is to go to this info button or I, and then you are going to arrow down to the shooting menu. And from that, you'll arrow down and then arrow over to release mode. Right now, it's set in single release mode. Just by clicking into that, you should be able to see a continuous release mode or a symbol that looks like a bunch of photographs stacked on top of each other, and you can click or select on that. So hopefully this helps you with your decisive moment photography. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.